van had her maiden voyage and it was a success in terms of everything, really. Mechanically, the van was sound, a little bit noisy, but she is 10 years old, so she's going to make a few complaints along the way. But performance-wise, she worked out really well. Fuel economy was great, no complaints there. There was a few bumps on the road, potholes and things like that, and I think that's probably just some rubber bushes need replacing. That was a large motorhome going past. Yeah, so I think I need a few rubber bushes replaced, drop links maybe. I'm going to get those checked out. The brakes are a little bit spongy at times, so I think I might just whip it into the garage and have them take a look, see if anything needs replacing there. The van drove really well. It drove even better on the windy roads, like the almost single track roads around the Lake District, and it just lapped those up. It takes the bends really well. I probably wouldn't have had as much confidence driving in a car around that area as I did in the van. In terms of my craftsmanship on the interior of the van, well, you know, mostly everything held up pretty good. The bed, awesome. Love that so much, really comfortable. Big enough, long enough, that's fine. The second bed, maybe he did complain a little bit about it, but I think that was just the sleeping in the unknown. The fact that the bed is unfamiliar to him, and you know, it's narrower than a standard bed, and it didn't help that I parked on a slant, so maybe that made things a little bit more difficult. That's something that I'm going to watch out for in the future. Storage, I've got lots of storage. It's mainly under the bed, and there's some adjustment that I need to do. The two boards that lift up, one is hinged and one isn't hinged. I need to make a solid section in the middle that doesn't lift at all, is just bolted down, and put some hinges on the other side, the one that isn't hinged. And that's because the cushions aren't in perfect alignment with the boards, so when you lift one board up, it kind of wants to lift the other cushion up as well, so that's easy to fix. I'm missing a lack of a table. I toyed with the idea before I left, but I kind of ran out of time, and I didn't want to just throw something together that I would have to take out later. I thought I want to plan it a little bit better and put something in that's going to be usable for a long time. And I'm glad I didn't, because that brings me to my major bugbear, which is the kitchen. You may have seen a video that I did just before we left for the Lake District, where I hacked and chopped away the kitchen to make it smaller. And I'm not sorry that I did that, but I still haven't ended up with the kitchen that I want. The problem is, well, firstly, the kitchen door, the door on the kitchen cupboard, it doesn't stay closed, and that's because I've used crappy latches. It's just not very good. So going forward, that's something that I need to address straight away, better catches. When I bought the worktop, it was a bargain worktop. It cost me £5 for 4 meters of the stuff. It was amazing. It was like an offcut. And I took the tiny bit that I needed at the time, and then I sold the rest of it for like 20 quid. So my bit of worktop cost me nothing, and I made £20 profit. No, £15 profit. Shouldn't have sold it. I should have hung on to it, because what I've found is that with the sink and the hob on there, there's no chopping space whatsoever. So I need a slightly longer worktop, and I'm not talking like, you know, a meter longer, but maybe 30 centimeters, 40 centimeters more would be a massive improvement. The cupboard itself isn't big enough. The water bottles that I have in there for the fresh water and the grey water, neither are big enough. So I need to get rid of the kitchen altogether. I don't think I can alter it sufficiently to make it work for me. So I need to start from scratch on that. Going forward, I've watched a lot of YouTube videos, van builds, and I can't remember all of them, but I know Into the Mystery 13 did this, and a couple of other people that I followed did this. They made the bed, the primary bed, a kind of extendable pull-out bed. So it looks like a single, and then you can actually pull the front out and the slats separate. Basically, an extending bed that extends out, so it goes from a single to a double. So what I think I will do, not quite yet, but in the future, I'm going to have some more cushions that work as backrests. The bed will pull out, and the cushions will just slide down into place, making it like a double or a 3/4. That's probably going to work better for me going forward. Got to stop saying going forward. Facilities, porta potty. Porta potty was fine. It was absolutely fine. It's not ideal, yeah, I know, and I didn't want to use it unless we had to, but we did end up using it, and I can't fault it. It just worked. It was fine. Shower facilities, things like that while we were on the road. We kind of just managed with what we had. Wet wipes, and getting in the river. I had some biodegradable. I don't know if I've got it. I had some non-detergent, environmentally friendly soap that we used, so that was quite good. Storage, I mentioned storage under the bed. Yeah, it's stacks of storage. That's more long-term storage. I need some quick access storage, so I need more of these cargo net type things or something like that I can put on the wall. I can stuff things in, like sweets, you know, like snacks, stuff that we're eating on the go, my vape juice, things like that, Kindles, chargers, just, you know, stuff that you need to grab all of the time. That's the kind of stuff that I need. Places that on a night I can take my watch and my wallet and dump them in there and they're safe. The fridge, yeah, the fridge was good. So what I did was, as soon as we set off, I turned the fridge on, so the battery was charging the whole time that we were driving, around 3 hours or so, and then I left the fridge on all day, all night while we were stopped. The battery level had dropped quite a bit overnight. It was like around about 12 volts. Went for a drive, fridge stayed on, turned it off later in the day, like 4 or 5 hours later I checked it, it was still cold, and I just kind of switched it back on at night when we went to bed just to keep things cold. It has a silent or a mute mode. Stick it in mute mode, you just don't know it's on. It's really quiet. More than impressed with that. I think I made a good decision with that fridge. Cooking. Didn't really do enough of it to discuss really, and mostly that's because of the cooking solution that I chose. It's in the wrong place. It's too close to the cupboard and the TV for me to feel comfortable doing any cooking. It's a bit of a fire risk because it's so close to everything else. If I put a frying pan on that and start cooking anything, sausages, bacon, whatever, it's going to splash, it's going to make a mess. So when I redesign the kitchen, I'm going to put the sink on the side where the camp stove is, and the cooking facilities on the other side, closer to the door, and I'll have some kind of splashback as well. So those were the things that I figured out whilst driving the van that I need to alter or I need to have looked at. In terms of my van build, that's nowhere near finished. I've so much left to do. Off the top of my head, second leisure battery, solar panels, upholstering the bare metal or the paint metal work in the van on the back doors and on the side door. I need to fit an air vent in the roof. I need to fit a window in the side door. I want to put a roof rack on. I want to have some ladders on the back door. I haven't even begun any kind of work on the cab up front. That needs all to be stripped out, cleaned up, and reupholstered. I need some new seat covers creating, or new seats, I'm not sure yet. I need a swivel base for the passenger seats so they can spin around and look into the dwelling area. One of my YouTube subscribers told me that when they installed the curtain in their van, they had the black side, the dark side of the curtain facing out towards the cab, so that anyone looking in on an evening would just see black, whereas when they look in on mine they see white. And that was a really valid point. I took that on board, and I am going to fit a kind of second curtain that closes at the same time as this one, so that it's just black. I didn't want white facing in because I'm in here, I'm living in here, I want to see the nice side. So yeah, I've got a kind of a plan I'm working on for that. I'm thinking about some more storage for up this side of the van, some further build out there. I'm putting some more. I want to put some more lights in over the kitchen area. The step on the back, it really is, I find, surplus to requirements. I don't need it to get into the van or to get out of the van. I'm going to be truthful, it's nearly broken my leg about 8 times now, and I'm pretty sick of it. So at some point that step needs to come off. I've kind of put it off because I know it's going to be a real difficult job to get that off. I've looked underneath and the bolts are like rusty and big. Big rusty nuts. That's the problem. Bungee cords are amazing. I couldn't, this trip would have been a lot worse without bungee cords because I've needed to strap so many things down. I managed to, I used it for a kitchen roll holder on the back of the seat headrests, hang the kitchen roll there. I used it to keep the cupboard door open because the latch was crap. I've needed to use them to hold up cupboard doors because I'd not thought ahead and put special hinges on that hold the doors open for me. I've used bungee cords to hold things down. During transport, I've used them to hold shopping bags in place so they don't fall around in the back of the van while we're driving about. So all in all, yeah, a great trip, and it's left me with a list of things to do, and I couldn't be happier. I really couldn't, because I love this. This is fantastic. I love this van. I love what I'm doing with it. I love the fact that if something doesn't work, I can change it. I can make it how I want it. And you can't buy that kind of thing from a showroom. It's just not possible. You can buy nice vans from a showroom and you can learn to live with them. But when you've built something yourself and you've put that hard work in and you've built it around you and how you want it to work, that feels kind of good. So I'm happy with what I'm doing. I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. I'm enjoying it, and I kind of hope that things do need changing, and I have to keep altering things to suit my needs. I'm happy with that. That's disgusting. Maybe I didn't stir that enough. Got rid of the taste.